In week 1 for the Hurdlr accountability sessions, we'll just be talking about the basics of Hurdlr, why use it, what it is, and how to use it in your first week. So there are a couple of features that you should be familiar with right away when you get started. And after we kind of give you a little introduction of what Hurdlr is and why you should be using it, Ashley's actually going to walk you through how to set it up and what are the basic things that you should be doing on a daily basis or a weekly basis, how you should be interacting with it to get started. So it's going to be a great way to kick off the session, because whether you've used this yet, you've used anything in the past, or this is your first time using any kind of tax preparation type of application, this will be a really very powerful session for you to learn about that. So in week 2, we're going to talk about how to make Hurdlr more habitual, meaning what are some things that you can do so that you're consistent with the app, because it's just like anything, guys. This app is like incredible what Hurdlr can do, and the desktop version as well. But it's only going to be as successful as you interact with it. I mean, there's a lot of things that you can do, even to make yourself a hopeless success with the app, and Ashley will actually walk you through some of those things. For example, highlighting some of our automation features, or the artificial intelligence and the AI, the learning that the app can do to kind of just sort of get to know who you are and do things for you. So it almost takes away some of the need to interact if you can set some good rules. Well, Ashley's going to show you how to do that next week. In week 3, we're going to talk about recruiting, retention, and reporting. So how can Hurdlr support your qualification process, your retention for your organization, and how do you run certain reports that support those efforts? And then finally, in week 4, we're going to talk about duplicating this process with people in your organization. What are some resources that you should be making available to them? How are you going to be able to expose more people in your group to the app so that they're actually using it? Because it's just like a lot of things. The company gives us so many incredible resources and tools that we can use to support our business building. And sometimes it just comes down to a simple phone call from a senior business partner saying, hey, have you checked this out yet? Make sure you log in, you click on this, you download it, and you get started. It's going to save you a lot of time and money. So as cool as the technology is, just keep in mind that sometimes it just comes down to a one-on-one text, phone call, email, or whatever, so that you can expose more people to that. So in week 4, we'll dive into that. By that point, you guys will all be Hurdlr pros, and you will know how to use this, and you're going to be excited to start a similar session to what we're doing together. To kick this off, you're going to be excited to do that with your people. So that is the hope and goal. So without further ado, I'm going to jump in and give you guys just a basic overview of what Hurdlr is and what they're here for before we tell you how to log in and set it all up. So essentially, Hurdlr is a system that helps unfranchised owners to easily manage their business finances and self-employed taxes. So as you have all seen in the unfranchised business presentations, one of the benefits of being an unfranchised owner is potential tax benefits. So, how are you managing that? How are you keeping yourself aware of what's tax deductible, what isn't, or even just kind of being aware of where that spending is going or that overhead is going. So Hurdlr is a simple application that's also available via desktop that helps you to do that in a simple way. 90% of entrepreneurs are co-mingling their finances. So that basically means that most entrepreneurs, and that's anything from affiliate marketers to Uber drivers to unfranchised owners to small business owners, people that work for themselves, they're commingling their finances, meaning they have one bank account, they're just kind of paying everything out of the same space. They're not really keeping their personal and business finances separately. And because of that, they don't really understand not only their true profit, but probably their true overhead or the true expenses that are associated with running their business, right? So that can be very, very daunting because most people, when they are getting started as an unfranchised owner, this may be their very first time owning any kind of business. And like I said earlier, as an unfranchised owner, we are, we do have potential tax benefits, especially being a home-based business. So how do you separate the two? How are you currently doing that? By the way, even if you figured out what all the tax rules are you staying up to date on all of the changes that happen year to year to year? Because it's quite a bit. The tax code is very intense. For me personally, it's never been something that I've been able to fully wrap my head around, and that's why we have an accountant. But even the information that I'm providing to my accountant, it could be better organized. And that's why I'm so excited about Hurdlr, because it's giving me information that can make it easier for, the stuff that my accountant needs to do with it. Entrepreneurs can actually, I'm just hearing some dialing in the background, so if you could just mute your phone, that'd be cool. If you're on, yeah, there we go. Oh, there we go. Hold on one second. Okay, I'm just gonna mute all for a second, just to be sure that we don't hear any weird background noise. Okay, so I'm gonna go back here. Entrepreneurs can actually have over $10,000 in business tax deductions, and most of that is not claimed. You're spending thousands of dollars a year to run your business, and in addition to that, you're probably driving your car for business-related trips that you're not taking advantage of. And so that's just money that you're basically throwing out the window, and you'll never see again. And so what it really comes down to is, first of all, number one, understanding what is and what is not something that you can write off. But then number two, having the discipline and the organization to keep track of it all. So again, not many people have a system for that. How are you managing your business finances, your unfranchised income, any other business income if you own multiple businesses, or even W-2 information, like job information, taxes, expenses, etc. Do you have a system for keeping all of this organized, and is it working for you? For most people, they don't have a system at all, which is fine. As you can see, 90% of entrepreneurs are commingling finances right now. So you shouldn't feel too badly about that. But the good news is that Market America has provided us with a system and a tool that can help us to do a better job and be part of that top 10% that does not do that, and that does have a clear idea of what income and expenses are happening in their business. So really, you can just think of Hurdlr like a Fitbit for unfranchised owners' financial goals. It's keeping track of everything, everything that you do. There's a lot of stuff that's automated. In fact, today I received an email from Hurdlr giving me a report of everything that my business has done in terms of expenses and income in the past, probably getting ready for the stuff that we have to file in September. But I just got that. I didn't ask for it. It's just keeping track of things, and it's operating in the background, which I absolutely love, because taxes can be very intimidating for people, especially if it's your first time getting started owning a business at all. So the top 3 benefits overall for unfranchised owners. Number 1 is to save time and money. So Hurdlr can save you on average about $5,600 and 16 hours per year. So we're going to talk about time tracking and things that can save you time, and also, of course, how to use this application so that you can maximize the potential tax benefits that you are up to. So that's just an average, the $5,600. Yours might be more or less, but that's certainly more money in your pocket. JR always says that money saved is money earned, right? Second, always having up-to-date information with automated real-time financials. That is so big. I can't express enough how cool it is to be able to log into this app and have a clear idea of what's going on financially for my business. That insight to improve your business and your profitability is very, very powerful, because there's many people that they only look at that stuff once a year when they have to in tax time. Imagine if you had clear and easy to understand information that you could be leveraging on a week to week or month to month or even quarter to quarter basis. What would that do for your business and your profitability? Right? So essentially the goal is to keep more of what you make. We already kind of touched on this. The average small business owner is leaving at least $3,000 a year on the table, just simply because they were not organized and keep track of all of their expenses and their mileage. So having a system to do this for you is just, it's business 101. Furthermore, just keep in mind that, you know, with Deductor, which is the system that we used to have, we used to ask people to dual classify things. Is this a business expense? And you know, how does this relate to your shopping annuity? Meaning, what category of spending does this help for shopping annuity? Well, with Hurdlr, not only is it like having a personal assistant in terms of tracking your taxes, mileage, income, expenses, and other stuff, it's also really great for the shopping annuity. And the reason why is it's keeping track of overall spending and as it relates to shop.com categories, which is going to help our team to source potential exclusive products, shopping annuity brands, one-card stores, and partner stores. So the company is not having, you know, insight into individual whatever. It's just keeping track of overall spending and overall categories for the overall user base, which is something that it was doing anyway. But now we can say, wow, who knew that, you know, $5 million a quarter is being spent on, you know, home protection security system services. We should have more options for that, or we should go to one of our providers and see if we can negotiate more IBB because we have people that are clearly spending money. So it's really powerful, you guys, in terms of flexing our buying power, because essentially it's the difference between us going to a vendor and saying, like, you know, we have this many people that said that they spend this much money, which is, you know, people saying that they spend that much money versus this much money was spent in a category. So it gives the company really good buying power to work out some really cool deals for us. So finally, Hurdlr is free for UFMS subscribers. So if you have UFMS currently, this is a free app that you have available to you. And just so you know, if you don't know, Unfranchised Management System is basically a series of business tools. It's services tools and systems that help you to manage your organization, maximize your time, and grow your business. So it's things like reports and, you know, all kinds of stuff. So if you actually go to the back office and you look at the Unfranchised Management System landing page, you can see all of the benefits of having UFMS. So for us, when we started our business, this was just like it was like a non-discussion. It was just, this is what unfranchised owners subscribe to because it helps them to keep their business organized and professional. So that's something that we've just always had. We've never not had UFMS. So again, the company was kind enough to give Hurdlr, formerly Deductor, free to all UFMS subscribers. Now, I did just say formerly Deductor, so I do want to mention and highlight that if you did have Deductor and you were using Deductor, when you do go ahead and upgrade to Hurdlr for the USA and Canada, all of your information from Deductor, including your confirmed income, expenses, and mileages from both 2018 and 2019 will be automatically added or imported into your Hurdlr account when you log in for the first time. So you're going to notice some really big benefits and enhancements in Hurdlr. It's so much more intuitive. There's so many things that make it hard to not make this a habit because it's that intuitive to use. But the good news is that if you were an avid Deductor user, you will not lose all of that information and have to go back and redo it, but rather it's actually going to be moved into Hurdlr for you when you log in the first time. Now, before I turn this over to Ashley and I have her kind of walk us through how to get started with Hurdlr, I do just want to say that personally, when I upgraded my account from Deductor to Hurdlr, there were so many things about the new experience that just made it like so much easier for me. So I tried really hard to make Deductor a habit. I pick times of the week and times of the day that I was going to go in and you know, log things. But, you know, Hurdlr does so much stuff for you automatically and makes it so much easier to do things in bulk and saves time that it's actually fun. It's also a little bit addicting because like throughout the day, if there's like if there's expenses that need to be confirmed or something, I'll get a little notification app that tells me, hey, you know, just do it now. And it's really great because then it turns into a 15-second task that gets done right away versus something that I have to look at as a standing appointment with myself, which can be overwhelming. The other cool thing is it makes like a really cool like cha-ching sound every time I have income that hits my account. So I absolutely love that. Again, it's like it's addicting, and if you have the notifications turned on, it's really difficult to not be consistent with this app because it just does so much to help keep you accountable and consistent that literally you just have to respond to it. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to turn it over to Ashley. Ashley, I want to make sure that you're unmuted. You are. I'm going to stop sharing this screen, Ashley, because I want to start off by just showing the unfranchised screen, right? Because we want to show them how to access that first.
Yep, that's great.
Cool. And then I'm going to turn it right on over to you. So let me go ahead and share that. So you should all be seeing my unfranchised business account right now. And what happens is down here, you have your widgets, right? Your unfranchised widgets right here. And as you can see, my tax savings widget is right here. So I click on that. And then when I'm done, I can just click on it and it will go ahead and it'll prompt me to either set it up for the first time, or it will prompt me to just access my account on desktop. So that's the way that you're going to want to access this for the first time, absolutely, so that you don't get charged. One other thing I want to show you guys is up here, there's a little gear by the business center. If you click on that, you can actually rearrange your widgets. So if you want tax savings to be like the first or second or third thing, all you have to do is click it and drag it where you want it to go. And save it. So you can customize the order of this. If tax savings is a widget that you want to be seeing and interacting with on a daily basis, simply, redo the order of how you see your widgets from there. So cool. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to turn it over to Ashley. And Ashley, I know you want to talk everybody through onboarding and getting started with the app.
Perfect. Let me just pull my screen up. All right, can you see my screen?
Yes, I can.
Okay, perfect. So I just kind of wanted to reiterate a little bit of what Sarah said first. I'm really excited to be here today and walk you guys through Hurdlr. Our biggest goal here is to really help you maximize your profit by lowering your tax obligations so you're keeping more money in your pockets, because I think everyone wants to keep more money at the end of the day rather than paying it in taxes. So like Sarah said, we have a lot of automation that you'll see compared to Deductor. If you were previously using Deductor, you'll see that in Hurdlr you now have fully automatic mileage tracking, AI-based rules to help you tag your transactions and mileage automatically, and just more detailed tax calculations. And like she shared, all of your data from Deductor will be carried over automatically, so there's no fear of losing that information. So once you look for the first time from the back office, you'll be prompted to create your password. And this is both for if you're doing it for the first time ever, or if you're using Deductor previously. So I'm going to set my password up. And just so you know, if you're accessing via your back office on your phone, we'll actually take you to the App Store to download the mobile app, and we'll log you in there. So right now I'm doing it through the desktop app to show you that view. So when you first log in on either mobile or desktop, at the top of the screen, you'll see a list of your different pending actions that you need to do to set up your account. So that's the first thing you'll want to do to be able to get started with the app. So first thing we're going to do today is we're going to set up our tax profile. So this is just a few questions to accurately set up your tax calculations, because Hurdlr provides those in real time. So I'm going to go ahead and set up my state, then my filing status for state, my federal filing status, and then it can also make sure you're in the right tax bracket if you have a full-time job. So I'll say I have a full-time job as well and put in a salary there. And that way we're just getting our tax bracket, since you're getting more than just your income from Market America. So here's just a disclaimer letting you know that these are estimates, but our users do find that the estimates tend to be very accurate. Got it? Okay, so then the next thing we have is automated reports. And Sarah mentioned this earlier. At the end of each month, we can actually send you an automatic report of your data, so you don't even have to go in and export it yourself. So we do recommend enabling that, just so that you're always keeping up with that and don't have to worry about going in and doing that yourself. Okay, and now the next thing you're going to want to do is pick your income tracking method. So if you hit that, you can either manually enter your income, or you can link your bank account. We recommend linking your bank account, because then all of your transactions will pull in automatically. And that way you're never missing tracking your income or your expenses, and you have everything there in your reports. So I'm just going to walk you through to show you how easy it is to do that. So you'll come to this screen, and then if your bank's not one of the first ones listed, you can hit the search banks, and you'll just type in the name of your bank. And then it'll just ask you to log into your bank directly. And just so you know, the bank linking is very secure. It's all encrypted and can only be used by Hurdlr servers. And we're actually not getting any of your login credentials. It's going directly to your bank. And then your bank is giving us the read-only data of those transactions. So we're not seeing your credentials, and we're not storing them at all. So it is a very secure login process. So now it will tell me that my account is linked. And then it will let me choose which accounts I want to link if you have multiple accounts at that bank. So I'll go ahead and link both of those accounts to my income. And then it will ask me if I also want to link that account for my expenses. So I'll go ahead and say yes, and get that linked for my expenses as well. So let's go back to this home screen to finish these setups. So as you see here, you'll see all your pending actions as well. So now that I have some transactions pulling in, it's going to prompt me to tag those. So the next thing I can do is, if you're getting started on the web app, you can actually text yourself the link to the mobile app if you don't want to just go to the App Store and download it yourself. So you can just enter your phone number in, and it will text you the link to download the mobile app. We also recommend enabling notifications. This will be on both the mobile app and the web app. That way you're able to stay up to date on those, tagging everything. So I'm going to pause here real quick and highlight one of our features for support. So up in the right-hand corner, there's a little question mark. And you can tap the button here and send any questions you have to our team. So just hit the New Conversations button, and you can send us any questions you have. So if you have questions about how to do something, or you're stuck or run into an error, just shoot us a message and it comes right to our team, and we're happy to help. Our normal response time during business hours is under 5 minutes, so we're able to help resolve issues pretty quickly. The other way to contact us would be via email. So if you go to our site, you can find our email there, but it's just hello@hurdlr.com. So those are the two best ways to contact us, and we're able to resolve your issues pretty quickly. We also do have a CPA on our team as well. So he's great to help with some of the more tech-specific questions. I also want to let you know that if you guys have questions as we're going through this today, feel free to chat them in, and we can answer those as we go. I know we'll also have some time at the end for questions. All right, so now that we got those basic things set up, I want to walk you guys through each of the different sections of the app. So the first thing we'll take a look at is your expenses. So if you hit this expenses button, this is going to be all the expenses from my account that I linked so far. So all you need to do is go in and tag them as either business or personal. And also, if you have a transaction that is both business and personal, let's say you went to Target and you bought some office supplies, but then you also bought some personal groceries, you can actually split it between both by hitting that split button. So all you need to do is just hit the business button and it will tag it for you. Or you can also expand something by clicking that down button. And you can choose a client if you have a client. You can add some notes if you have notes about the transaction. And then if the category isn't already known, you can also select the category for it. And then it's similar with expenses or income as well. So with income, you click here, and it's the same where you're either tagging it as business or personal, and then it just tags it for you. And then you can also expand it again. So if you want to add some additional notes in, you can do that as well. The next thing is mileage. So the mobile app itself is what you use mostly for mileage tracking. With Hurdlr, we have several different options to track your mileage. So the first is, first of all, we have fully automatic, semi-automatic, and then just manual. So for fully automatic, for iPhones and Android, you have the option of tracking it via speed. So this is every time you hit 10 miles an hour or more, it will start tracking your trips for you. With Android, there's also the option of tracking via Bluetooth. So if your car stereo has a Bluetooth device, you can have it connect to that. So that every time you connect, it will automatically just start tracking your mileage for that. The next option that we have is semi-automatic. So this is similar to what Deductor had, where there's a stop and start button. So if you just want to, track one continuous trip or only track certain trips, we recommend that option. So you just hit the start button at the beginning and the stop button at the end, and that will calculate your start and end location and the distance that you traveled. So you'll have all that information. And then finally, we have the manual option. So this is great actually if you haven't been tracking your mileage already and want to get caught up. So in the app and the desktop, you'll see the add a trip button. So you can go in here and enter your different details for your trip. So let's say I want to add a trip in, I enter those details. I can say how long it took and the distance. Let's say it was 15 minutes. And then save it, and then you'll see that listed there. And once you start tracking that as well, you'll start seeing your deductions at the top. So you'll see that so far I have $8.70 in deductions from that. So I'll just pause there for a second and see if there are any questions, and then I'll move on to an account that has some more data loaded so we can show you a little bit more about how that works. Are there any questions?
It says, can you customize the expense categories?
Yes, you can definitely do that. So up here in this top right corner is the gear icon, and this is kind of where all your different settings are. In the mobile app, it's 3 dots in the top left corner. That will take you to all of these different, all the different categories and different settings. So if you click on that and then click business categories, there's a little add button here. So you can add a different category. So let's say that you want to track your purchases for your inventory. So you want to track your inventory purchases for your pet supplies business. So you can go in here, and then you would just select from the parent category and the expense category, whatever fits best. So these are just standardized because they map directly to the tax categories. So if you have any questions about trying to figure those out, you could also just shoot us a message about that. But then once you fill all that out, you hit save, and that will be added in for you.
Cool. Just a couple more quick questions. Can you?
Yeah.
Yes, you can. Can you link your credit cards?
Yes, so you can also link your credit cards. It works the same way. So once you've already linked an initial bank or credit card, you'll just want to go to this settings again, and then there's a banks and integrations. So you can click on either one, and it takes you to the screen. So this is all my income accounts, and this is all my expense accounts. So if I want to add a credit card, I can just come down to add expense account, and then choose my credit card and link it the same way.
Cool. And then if you have 2 credit cards with different login information for the same bank or company, you can just add them again, right? You would just go through the process again?
So unfortunately, we don't support multiple logins for the same institution. You can have as many credit cards for different institutions, but we can't currently support logging into 2 different logins for the same one. So we'd recommend linking one and then manually entering transactions for the other. Or what some people do is they'll contact that bank or credit card company to see if they can have both accounts put under that same login. That way that all the transactions can be pulled in together.
Yes. Okay. And then finally, well, there's 2 more, sorry. Location, should that be turned on for automatic mileage tracking?
Yeah, so for any type of mileage tracking, you do need to have the location set on. For iPhone, it needs to be set to always. Unfortunately, if you don't have it set to always, if the app's not physically up on your screen and you're looking at it, it won't allow the mileage to be tracked. So you do need to have that. And then for Android devices, it does vary slightly as far as the settings, but the highest location permissions that you can give is what you'll want to grant for the mileage tracker to be able to run. It's based on your GPS location, so it does rely on your phone's GPS to be able to run in the background and track all of that data for you.
Okay, cool. And then for credit cards that are not in your list, people can just add manually expenses or income?
Yes, that's correct. So we do, sorry, what was that?
I was going to say, you could talk about how many you guys are integrated with. It's more than Deductor, and
Sure.
then what to do in that situation.
Yeah, no problem. So we support close to 10,000 banks and credit cards, as well as other integrations. So you can see here. So definitely popular income integrations like FreshBooks, Uber, PayPal, and then all the banks and credit cards. But if your bank isn't currently supported, reach out to us. We're happy to double check on our end and make sure that it isn't. And if it isn't, we can pass this along to our integrations partners to see if it will be added in the future, and it's possible it may be since they continually add more. But in the meantime, you'll want to enter those transactions manually. So I can show you how to do that. So if you go to, let's say you have income that you want to add, there's this add income button. So you just click on that, and then you enter all the details. So let's say that you made $100 sales, and you just hit save, and then it will save it in there for you as your business transaction. And we'll just say manual income because that means that you entered it manually versus if it's from a linked account, it will show the last 4 digits of the account. And it works the same way for expenses as well. So if you go to the expenses section and hit add expense, you can add all those details in.
Cool. So why don't you go ahead and finish up, and then we'll take another round of questions after so that we can make sure we get through the demonstration and that people that want to stay on for additional questions can.
Okay, perfect.
Cool.
All right, well, I'm just going to log into an account that has a little bit more data real quick so you guys can see what that looks like. Okay, so once you have some more data, this dashboard on your home screen really shows you the high level of everything going on right now. So it shows you your profit and loss, so it shows your income to date, your expenses, your taxes, the mileage deductions, your expenses, your income, the breakdown of your taxes, so your federal versus your state versus self-employed. And you can ignore that because that's for real estate, which is another option we have. But like I mentioned before, up here is where all of your pending actions are. So right now in my account, I have mileage, expenses, and income that I can tag. So I can click on any of these to be able to go and review it. So here's some different mileage I've had recently that hasn't been tagged yet. So like the income expenses, I just go in and tag it as either business, and it'll prompt me to tag it to a specific business that I have multiple ones, or personal. And then you'll see up here the different graphs, so you can kind of click around and see how many drives you've had, how many miles you've driven, and up here it has your totals. And then same with your income and expenses. You can go here and, like I showed earlier, tag all of those, and it shows at the top what you're at to date. So you can just kind of see in a graphic form where you're spending more, where you're spending less. We do also have this cool thing called Deduction Finder. So if you're brand new to the app, I'd recommend that. It will actually scan all of your transactions for you and let you know which ones are likely and not likely to be deductible. So it's a really great tool if you're kind of getting started, especially if you're new to being self-employed and you're not really sure what might be deductible. It's a great way to kind of get started there. And then let's go to taxes screen 2. So we set up all of our tax settings earlier at the beginning. So now it's using that information to actually calculate my taxes for me. So at the top, you'll be able to see how much taxes are owed currently, kind of just based on all the data that I've entered so far. And it breaks down your federal versus your state. And you can actually see the really detailed calculations as well. So if I click the net income, it will show me my deductions. So here are my deductible expenses. With mileage, you can turn it on or turn it off. So some users may have higher actual vehicle expenses like gas and repairs. So they might want to deduct those instead of the mileage. But you can easily just change that up here in the tax profile. So let me change that to show you what that looks like. I'm using the mileage deduction. So now I see it here. I see my deductible expenses, my deductible mileage expenses, and my self-employment deduction. So that gives me a taxable net income. And then down here, it shows the calculations for your federal taxes. And then as well, your state, and then your self-employment taxes. So you can really see those detailed calculations of how we're getting to that number that is owed. The other cool thing is that you can actually use it to predict out the full year. So you can put the full year here. It projects everything out based on the data that you track so far. And then the other cool thing is for quarterly taxes. So these are payments that you make each quarter towards your taxes. It will actually show you how much you should be making for those tax payments. And then you can track those tax payments in the app as well, so that if I you know, I paid my Q1 taxes. Let's say I paid $1,000 for Q1 in April. I can save that, and then up here it will show that I've already paid $1,000, so I only owe $8,836 more in taxes for federal. And then the other thing I want to highlight today too is the report. So we go to this reporting section on the left-hand side. Here's the profit and loss report, but then you can also tap here and take a look at any of these reports. So let's say I want to see my expenses for each of my businesses, since I have multiple businesses. It shows you what your expenses are, and then you can even email a report to yourself that has the details of all those transactions. And then we have this tax details for filing report. This report sends you everything for your taxes. It has all of your mileage, expenses, and income from the app. And then it has everything organized for your Schedule C category. So if you're filing your taxes yourself, you can easily use that to input into the tax filing program that you use, or you can pass this along to your CPA. You can even just email it to them directly by adding their email in. And it helps you spend a lot less time with them since everything's really organized and ready to go. And then the other thing I just want to reiterate again is our support. So if you have any questions as you're getting started, please reach out in the support. We're always happy to help answer questions. There are no stupid questions. We're always happy to help point you in the right direction if you have any questions or are confused about anything.
Cool. So Ashley, just for everybody on the line, I think that was really, really helpful. It was nice to see somebody actually just walk through it live instead of just showing like images of what they should see. It was really cool to see that happen. So for week 1, what I'd recommend is that everybody should be getting Hurdlr on their phone, setting up those notifications and setting up your profile and just getting started. So for the first week, I would make sure that you've linked any of your accounts, that you are looking and reviewing your potential expenses and income, and also making sure that you have mileage set up. So that would be the very first focus for anybody. And if some of the extra things like customizable categories or whatever is too much for you in week 1, that's fine. Just get started with what you have, and then you can always add on additional layers to make it, you know, more and more robust as you go on. I want to mention, like Ashley did just say, that there's a really great help section there. When I actually converted my account, there was a video about how to get started. It was like a 4-minute video. I think, Ashley, you were the one in it, which was really great.
Yep.
And it was cool. Go ahead. You can go ahead and show it because it was literally the best thing.
So we have a help here. It's called Hurdlr University. So it's university.hurdlr.com, and you can actually access it within the app too. I think there's a button that says FAQs. And you can search for questions you have here. We also have different sections. So there's video tutorials, kind of getting started, FAQs, reports, desktop. We have a whole section for Canada, for filing taxes in the US, some tax questions, personal expenses, and so on. We also have this deductor conversion section here. This is questions specifically for previous deductor users to kind of help them get started. So I think that's probably the video that you're talking about.
Yep, it is. It was short.
So yeah, there's the video tutorial there.
Yep, just kept pausing it. It was easy. So if you're looking for a quick recap, that's going to be that. Also, just want everyone to know that this session was recorded, and we will put this up on the Shopping Annuity YouTube channel and get this out. We probably, we may move week 2 to a different location because apparently there was a 100-person limit on today's session. So I will look into that, and everybody that's on today's session will get an email like, you know, you all logged in, so we should be able to communicate that. But again, this session was recorded. So if anybody has to go, I know it's supposed to be a quick lunchtime thing, that's okay, but there were several questions that were still not answered, so we're just gonna hang out and answer them, but the main session for today is completed. So Ashley, these questions are mostly for you, so I'm gonna go ahead and ask.
Okay, perfect.
All right, cool. So the first one is conversions from deductor only happens once you add the account into Hurdlr that was in deductor. That's true? I think that basically means, like, if you are upgrading from deductor, it's bringing in all your old data, but it's does it also need to have those bank accounts added as well in order to do that?
So you will need to link your bank accounts again. If you were linked in Deductor, that data would pull in that was already categorized. But setting up in Deductor, setting up in Hurdlr, they use a different bank link in Deductor, so you will need to link those accounts again.
Okay, cool. I see you can add a receipt. Is that an option available on the app as well? Would you just be able to scan a receipt or take a picture from your phone?
Yeah, so we do allow you to add receipts. It doesn't scan the receipt, but you can easily add it in. So if you are on the mobile app, it's the same thing where if you open the transaction, you'll see the add a receipt button, and you can either choose one from your photo library or take one. So if you already have the expenses pulling in from your bank, you just click on it once it pulls in, or you can manually add the expense and then add the receipt to it.
That's great. From Jeremiah, is there a suggestion to working with iTransact for customer sales to show retail profit off of ordering the profit at UFO cost? Jeremiah, that's to me, that's the same. Trying to think of the best answer for that. So Ashley, essentially what happens is when an order comes in, an iTransact is the credit card processor that the UFO is using. It comes in and then like we get the money, like the money gets deposited into our account as income, but then we place the order for the product in our back office. So to me, it just kind of works itself out, like, because the retail profit is calculated at that point. Like,
got it. Yeah, I think it's, from what I understand of it, it sounds like that should be fine then.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just like how anything is, Jeremiah. Like if you had gotten a check from somebody for a product that was $100 and then you bought it on unfranchised for $75, you would simply log one as income and one as an expense, and the rest would be mathematically just deemed as profit.
Yeah, exactly. So there is a category called cost of goods sold. So anything that you're buying as far as inventory or like reselling, you'd want to categorize it as that. As an expense, and then you track that total income amount so that it would calculate the profit for you. Yep, that's correct.
Yeah. So, okay, cool. So, sorry, just now getting online, does Hurdlr by any chance have capable of linking with devices like ME Connect? I'm not familiar with what that is.
Yeah, I'm not either. If the person's on that question could reach out to us in the app, or if they're still on the line and want to add some more context there, I'm happy to answer that.
Cool. All right. I think you already answered this, but it said, can I track multiple businesses? And the answer was yes.
Yeah. Let me show you how to do that real quick though. So if you go to the settings up here, and in the app, again, that's the top left corner, you go to businesses, and then there's an add button. So you can add any other business that you have. And then that way, like I was showing earlier, when you're tagging something as business, it will prompt you and ask you which business it's for. So it will keep all of your different business income, expenses, and mileage separate from each other.
Great. And then do we need to recreate categories that were used in Deductor, or are those also transferred over?
So any custom categories were not able to be transferred over, so you will want to create those again. But if you have any questions about how to do that, please reach out, and we're happy to help with that and get those set up again.
Yes, perfect. Cool. I think that's, it says ME Connect is capable of tracking mileage in my car.
Oh, got it. So no, we don't link with that. We have a built-in mileage tracker within the app itself. So we don't link to outside mileage trackers, but I'll definitely pass that feedback along to our engineering team. It may be something that we add in the future.
Awesome. Sounds great. Cool. Well, guys, the first session is always a little bit longer than what we anticipated. We did go over by 15 minutes, but in the future weeks, we will get right to demonstrating stuff and try to stick to the 30-minute window. So thank you guys so much. I hope everybody had a fantastic holiday weekend. And like I said, it's real simple stuff. So the focus this week is literally as simple. I'm just going to put it up on the screen so you guys can all see it. Oh, you got to stop sharing your screen for 1 second, and then we should.
Yep, got it.
Thank you. All right, cool. I just want everybody to be clear because we went through kind of quite a bit of things today, but get UFMS if you don't already have it. Second, is activate and set up your account. And then you want to confirm any of your, or review any of your outstanding expenses and income, set up your method for mileage tracking, and then just begin to work on a system that works for you that you can become consistent with. So it's a really simple to-do list. We had a nice walkthrough. Ashley, thank you so much for your time. And for, like I said, doing it.
Of course.
Always so much harder than just slides, but it's definitely very, very helpful and very beneficial for us. So guys, thanks so much. And
No problem.
communicate, yes, the link and the information, but it'll be the same time next week, 12 p.m. Eastern time on Tuesday, and we'll see you there.
Awesome. Have a great rest of your week, guys. And again, just reach out if you have any questions.